Assalamu alaikum. How many of you here play sports? Quite a number. How many of you here are good students in school? You do good. You do good grades. You don't do good in school?
No, I said I don't have any grades because oh, okay. Okay, smart.
Exactly, yeah. I don't want to start it that way, but anyway. Sports. Activities and stuff that we do. Is it stuff that we really do? That we have full control over? You do, right? If you're playing soccer, if you're playing basketball, if you're playing football, if you're doing good at school, you got good grades at school, and I want your honest response.
School first.
What is it?
Well, first, school first.
No, my question is not that. Who do you attribute your success to? Honestly speaking. Yes, Cassie.
To myself and my future.
To yourself and your future. Somebody else. Who do you attribute your success to? To your parents. Who do you attribute your success to? Your parents.
The person who taught you.
The person who taught you. Headbook. That's a good example, and it's a different variety from different people. That's honestly speaking. Now, one thing that we need to understand in today's story, inshallah, we'll kind of go around in circles until we get to the bottom of it at the end, and it's mostly going to be conversational. We have to attribute everything to what? To who? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Who gave you your parents? Who gave you yourself and your brain? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. At the end of the day, everything has to be attributed to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why would I say that? Why would we have to attribute everything to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Yes.
Because he's the one who made you and you're the one who does the actions. So it's all.
He's the one who created us, and he gave us these things, these tools to do these things with. So it all goes back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Unfortunately, a lot of us, me included, everybody does this, we attribute things to ourselves. I got good grades because I studied hard. I scored this goal because I played hard. Now, one thing you need to understand, you do have to work hard. You do have to study hard. But at the end of the day, you have to attribute it to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that's one part of the story. The second part, what would you do if you won $1 million? Yes.
Still attribute it to Allah.
Still attribute it to Allah. Now, I'm not attributing. I want you, if you got $1 million right now, here's a check, $1 million, what would you do? What would that do to you? A what? To do a lot. Invest it. What else? Spend it. Donate it. So for me, pass it along to people. You're gonna. So did you notice what most of us do? You think how we're gonna work with. Now, one thing that you need to understand that you guys are still young. Alhamdulillah. You might not have gone through this. Some of the older folks here and myself, we've gone through this. When someone has money, especially if they were at a certain level and things have changed and they got money overnight, things change. Not that they got stuff. Not that they spread the money around. Personalities change. Their attitude towards others change. Yes?
Almost like people who are like famous, they were like...
Yeah, suddenly they drop off all their friends and overnight they become a different person. I remember when I was in school, there was a guy with us. He was nicknamed a certain name because he was from a lower level. But he played with us. Everybody played with him. He was one of our best friends. Little by little, he started moving into ranks and he started having more money. His parents had more money, so he started getting more money. So he started to dress differently, started to get more goods and stuff. And within a year or two, he dropped every single one of us. We're not equal to him anymore. Unfortunately for him, his dad was taken to jail because his dad was embezzling money. That's why he had all that money. And at that time, he tried to come back to his old friends. Things have changed. Why? Because he got money, and he decided, you know what, I don't want any of you anymore. You guys are young, you won't understand this. But listen to my words carefully. One day, you'll come across someone that did not have money, and someone who had money. You'll see how the personalities change, how the attitudes change. Now, with that said, let's begin today's story, inshallah. Today's story is part of the time of Sayyidina Musa. And it talks about a pious man. It was a very pious man. But money changed him. Power changed him. He switched from being a person that used to recite Torah very beautifully and was a very pious man. And alongside Sayyidina Musa is someone that Allah is mentioning that he's going to have a severe punishment. The story in the Quran, I'm going to mention it in the Quran. I'm going to say the story first and then we're going to go to the verse of the Quran. The story is the story of Qarun. Does anybody know Qarun? Have you heard that name before? Qarun? Yeah?
Might have. I think I heard
Did you hear the name of Qarun before? Qarun was at the time of Sayyidina Musa. And he was among the people of Musa, not just Bani Israel. You know, Bani Israel is the sons of Israel. That's the Qawm of Sayyidina Musa. When it's mentioned that he's min Qawm Musa, he was very close to Sayyidina Musa, to the extent some of the scholars say that he was a cousin to Sayyidina Musa. So that's how close he was. However, this man, and this is something that happens throughout life. When you have an oppressing king, what does he usually do? He goes to the people that he's oppressing. He does two things. Split them up into different groups and factions, punishes some, and hires spies within them to overlook the others. Okay? Fir'aun, eventually, during the story, you'll find out that he made a deal with Qarun. But what did Qarun do? Little by little, he started getting money. He started making money. He was among the Israelites, very poor. They didn't have money. And they were being oppressed by the Egyptians at that time, and Qawm Fir'aun. Little by little, he started gaining money. Little by little, he started liking money. And he started to do business with people, started to lend some of his folks money, and then come back and take it tenfold. His wealth started increasing. And subhanAllah, the more his wealth increased, the further away he got from being a righteous person that he was. After a while, Fir'aun got wind and understood that there's a guy that is getting high in the ranks from Qawm Musa. So he asked him, I need you to gather information about the people of Musa, and I need you to influence them. What is he going to influence them with?
To worship Pharaoh?
No. Make them doubt Musa. Why make them doubt Musa? What is Musa asking them to do?
Worship Allah.
Worship Allah. And what does he do doing that? Remember at that time, have you seen any of the stories about Sayyidina Musa? They were being punished, they were being tortured by Qawm of Fir'aun, and a lot of bad things were happening to them. Right? But what did he do? This guy, on the other hand, he's from the Israelites. And he started to go away from what? From religion. The further away he goes, what is happening to him? What is he getting? He's getting more money. So the commoner, what would he say? The further away you're from religion, what happens? You get what? You get more money. You get richer. He had palaces. He had tons of money to the extent it's mentioned in the Quran that when he did, to carry his riches, they would need at least 10 people, strong people like that guy over here, 10 of them, and they can't even carry what? His wealth? No. The keys to the safe. The keys. Keys? Your keys? That's keys for his safe. 10 of this guy, they can't carry it. I know you could. I know you could. SubhanAllah, this is how much money this guy had. But unfortunately, the more money he had, the further away he got from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The more money he had, the more Fir'aun liked it. Why did Fir'aun like it?
Because he has money.
What?
Because he has money.
Does Fir'aun need money?
No.
No. Fir'aun has everything. You know what Fir'aun wanted to get? What he's doing, he's creating a gap between the people of Mossa and Mossa. By saying what? I am with Fir'aun now, I'm making all this money. You guys stay with Mossa, see what's going to happen. Leave Mossa alone and come with me on my side. He did parades and walked in the what's called the streets, in the parade, with all his wealth. What would people do? If you saw someone driving the latest car outside, what would you say? Yes.
Whoa.
Whoa. What else would you say? Nice car. What else would you say? I'm looking for something specific. What would you say? Take a picture. What else?
I wish I had that car.
I wish I had that car. Thank you, Sid. That's what I was looking for. If you go to someone that has a fancy house, what would you say? You say, MashaAllah, we understand, MashaAllah. But what would commoners say? Commoners, maybe some general people, what would they say? Wow, I wish I had that. Now, there's two distinctions. There's nothing bad with wishing to have a nice car. There's nothing bad with wishing to have a nice house. The difference is, do you want to have the nice house and that other guy does not deserve it? You want it away from him? Or do you want it for yourself? I'd like to have something similar to that. Is there a difference between that? Why? What does that play into? Envy. What are you envying? The person. Did the person get that money by himself? Where did he get the money? We understand that it's Allah. He worked hard for it. He might have gotten it, he might have worked hard for it. But at the end of the day, it's Allah who gave it to him. So if we're envying someone for something that they have, and they have, when I say they have, it means anything. I'm short. He's tall. I wish I was tall. Right?
Wait, is he in the street?
I have the best speed on the airplane, though. So people look at different things from other people, and they say, I wish, I wish, I wish. Well, the people of Muslims said the same thing. I wish I had that. Look at what he has. I wish I had his house. I wish I had his palace. I wish I had this. I was watching a cartoon for it. They got one of the slaves saying, oh, I wish I had the ring on the shoe that he's wearing. That's what she was saying. But the problem is, people that have faith, and there's always time that people that have faith, and any time there's people that have faith, they went to Qarun and told him, watch out for what you're doing. There is zakah, there is money that you have to pay for the poor that needs to cover them. What did Qarun say at that point? It's mine. All this money is mine. Nobody has any right in it. It's my money. I own this. I got it how? It's from my knowledge. It's from my brain. That's why I got to praise. It's from what I do. That's why I scored that goal. That's the biggest mistake that he did. He attributed it to himself. He did another thing. When he found that what he was doing did not attract enough people, what's the worst thing that could destroy people of Mossa at that time? Is to do what? Yes?
He tortured them?
Not torture them. They've been tortured by Fir'aun. What?
Oh, okay.
Do what? When you find people and you're trying to oppress them, and you can't figure out a way to oppress them because they are very strong believers, what do? What do you shake?
Money.
Not money. Money is not working because some of them are still saying you got to pay what you owe. Yes?
Their leader?
Their leader. He decided that, you know what? I'm going to take down Mossa. In order to bring them down, I'm going to take down Mossa. He got a woman and told her that if you told the people that Sayyidina Mossa raped you, I will give you a ton of money. She goes out there, some different stories, but one of them said that she went out there that she's deaf and she can't talk and she needs to be healed by Sayyidina Mossa. So her dad took her there and Sayyidina Mossa made dua and he's thinking that she'll be cured. And she said, okay, now I'm cured, everything's good. They walked away. When they walked away, they went to the people of Mossa with her dad complaining that Mossa raped her. And they went to a gathering where Sayyidina Mossa was, and they tried to say that in front of everybody. Sayyidina Mossa was shocked. I didn't do this. I didn't do this. What did he do? Would he go and fight with them? Can anybody think, what would he do at that point? Somebody accused you of something. What would you do? Yeah, tell me. What is it? What do you say? Say it. No, go ahead and say it. No, it's funny. I want to laugh. Say it. Go ahead.
Stick up.
Huh? Stick up. Someone oppressed you. What would you do? Not that. Yes.
I would, like, if it was my side, I would talk back to them.
You would talk back to them. What else? Yes.
Tell my mom.
Tell your mom. What else?
Fight them.
Fight them. What else? Anybody else? Huh? Huh? Go along with it? Trick them? Go along with it and trick them. He left them, went and prayed 2 rak'ah and made dua. I'm not going to respond. Remember when we did the story of Maryam? When people accused her, what did she do? Did she respond? What does the Quran say? فَأَشَارَتْ إِلَيْهِ. I'm not going to respond to you. Someone else will respond to you. Someone else will take vengeance. He went and prayed. The lady realized that he's praying to Allah at that point. And if he's doing that, she's in big trouble. She collapsed. She said, Qarun told me to do X, Y, Z. Qarun told me to do this. This did not happen. Now, there's different narrations of what happened to Qarun. One that Sayyidina Mossa made dua, and it actually collapsed his palace. At the end, his entire palace, everything that he owned, everything that he had, there's an area in Egypt right now called Luhayd al-Qarun. It's a big lake. Everything sunk. Everything he owned sunk. Some of the scholars say that it was Sayyidina Mossa made dua. Another one say that Qarun was in his parade, and he told Mossa, you make dua. See, I have all this money. You say you talk to God. I'll make dua and see what's going to happen to you. You make dua and see what happens to me. He was challenging. Qarun did so many different things that were bad that we try to talk about today. And I try to touch on as much as I can. And anybody tell me one? We have about 4 or 5. One. Anybody. I'm not going to pick people, so raise your hands. Don't look away. Don't look away. Go ahead, Zid.
He ran parades and had people wish for what he had. Try to take from him.
He was showing off what he had. That's a good guess. Try to accuse Mossa falsely of something that he did not do. What else? Yeah. You were listening like everybody else. Got to come up with something. You don't know? Think. I'm waiting. You gotta tell me one thing. No cheating. Anything. Anything that I talked about today. The lake. Got it. What's up with the lake? What happened to the lake? Water? Wow, awesome. Lake has water. How did the lake happen?
Where's the submarine?
How did the lake happen? No. Go back to sleep. Anybody else? Yes. You have something, or you just?
No, I do. I forgot.
Anybody else? Yes. Well, that's a good point. He did believe in Allah. He was among the people of Mossa, not just Bani Israel. What he did is, he decided to attribute everything to himself. The bottom line is what I'm trying to get at, a couple of things. Yes and no. Just go ahead, before I answer that. Go ahead.
You can say it first.
Okay. What I'm trying to get at is, envy is huge. Looking at what someone else has is huge. I know we all say, oh no, we don't do that, but unfortunately, everybody talks to himself. You go home and talk to yourself. And you'll realize that sometimes, I might feel a little icky about it when someone has something. Why did he get that promotion? Why did he get that grade? Why did she do this? I love her dress. Why did she get that? Why did he buy that new car? That happens to a lot of people. We gotta be careful to stomp that. We cannot have that. Because that creates a lot of infighting. And creates a lot of issues. Another thing, attributing things to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Anything you do is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. However, don't go do bad deeds and go to places where you're not supposed to go and say, well, Allah made me do that. No, Allah didn't make you do that. You have the choice. Allah gave us choice. But we need to understand that rizq, what you gain, is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Under one condition. What's the condition? What's the condition? Can I get money from my job when I'm sitting right here, not going to work? Are you going to pass in your test if you're not even opening a book? When you're playing your sports, if you're not even practicing, and you're just sitting home like a couch potato, which you do most of the time, is that going to change? No. So what does that mean? We have a part that we have to do, and there's a part that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala provides. You're going to get your sustenance. Does the baby know? That's what I was coming here about. Does she know where her money's going to come from, where her food is going to come from? Who gives it to her? How? He gives it to me. Qarun, when he got that money, you get that money, to spread it around. You'll know that, inshallah, when you guys grow up, and when you have kids, you're like, where am I going to get money from? Suddenly, you get something that helps you out. They get it from the government? Yeah, right.
It gives you food to barely live off.
Exactly. Yeah. So now let's read the Quran and see how it's mentioned in the Quran. The reason why we're doing most of the time stories of the Quran is to understand that a lot of times, not a lot of times, all the time, the stories of the Quran are not stories that are locked up in time. Are they locked up in time? No. What can we do from these stories? Why do we do these stories?
To apply it to our everyday life.
To apply it to our everyday life. So for what I talked about today, can you apply this to your everyday life? What's a good application for this?
Refrain from envy.
Refrain from envy. That's a good application. Yes?
Whenever you get like blessings or
Always attribute it back to Allah. Whatever you have, attribute it back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What else? Anything else? Yes. To give back. That's very important. You gotta give back. Whether you give back, it doesn't have to be money. It's something important that you guys need to understand. You don't have to give back money. You do not have to give back money. What if someone does not have money? You can give back time. You can give back appreciation. There's so many things that you can give back. The idea is to give back. It's to respond to people around you. To be there for people around you. What else? Anything else? Okay. Yes?
Well, and you said that something that we learned today.
Something what?
That we learned today.
Yes, that's what I'm asking about.
Oh
What
yeah,
did you
okay,
learn today?
okay. One little thing can change somebody's personality.
One little thing change. Sometimes changes, especially when it comes to money. It doesn't have to be just money.
Luxury.
It could be position. That you guys are still young for this as well, but position. You might start seeing this. Your boss gets promoted to something else, to department manager. See how he's going to treat you. Things are going to change. You get promoted. See how you look at the people around you. You have to make sure you're grounded. When that happens, you gotta make sure you're grounded. If you're not grounded, trust me, bad things will happen. Bad things will happen. I've seen it happen so many times. People that get promoted or get to higher positions. I'm better than everybody. I'm better than everybody. Why? Because I got this position. He doesn't think that this is his risk. This is part of what he gets. This is part of what he was supposed to get. And he just says, no, it's my work. It's what I've done. So let's see what the Quran says. I'm trying to go through it as quick as possible, inshallah. إِنَّ قَارُونَ كَانَ مِنْ قَوْمِ مُوسَى فَبَغَى عَلَيْهِمْ. So the first ayah here says, إِنَّ قَارُونَ. Qarun was among the people of Musa. And there's a distinction between being Bani Israel and being from Qawm Musa. He's among the people of Musa. And some of the scholars say he was a closer cousin to Sayyidina Musa. What's the first mistake he did? فَبَغَى عَلَيْهِمْ. Bagha means to enjoy their torture. He would punish them or torture them and enjoy it. But he was doing it by money. He was oppressing them by money. And he was enjoying it. He would lend them money and he would enjoy it. Now, that's something that some of us might do. You would help someone on a homework that they did. And you come back and say, well, I helped you with this. You should help me back. I did this for you. You should do this back. So that's something else we could look into. وَآتَيْنَاهُ مِنَ الْكُنُوزِ. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him from the treasures. مَا إِنَّ مَفَاتِحَهُ لَتَنُوءُ بِالْعُصْبَةِ أُولِي الْقُوَّةِ. So that's the one that I was mentioning. He's got so many treasures. So not just cars. He's got houses. He's got money. He's got treasures. That the whole, and some people say that the Uzbah is 10 and more, would try to carry the bags that hold the keys and they would not be able to carry it. That's how much stuff we have. إِذْ قَالَ لَهُ قَوْمُهُ لَا تَفْرَحْ. And that's something that we very need to understand. Does anybody know what farah is? Happiness. Now, one thing that you guys are doing here is what? Learning what? Farah is not happiness. In this meaning, it does not mean happiness. La tafrah, do not be arrogant. Do not be arrogant. That's one thing that we need to understand, that sometimes when we misunderstand the Quran, it's complete. The Quran says, do not be happy. Proud. Right? Is that what it says? No. It said, La tafrah, do not be arrogant. Inna Allah la yuhibbu al-farih. Allah does not like these people who are arrogant. Does that make sense now? If you read it as oh, do not be happy, Allah does not like people who are happy. If people take literal translation of this, it does not sound good at all. We have to, that's one of the things we have to understand Arabic. We have to understand our language. Plus we have to understand Quran. وَابْتَغِي فِيمَا آتَاكَ اللَّهُ الدَّارَ الْآخِرَةَ. Allah gave you stuff, right? Where is your final destination? We talked about this so many times. Yes. Jannah, insha'Allah, Rabbil Alameen. So what they're telling him, what these people are telling him, you got to make sure that whatever you're having now, make sure you channel it properly to what? To take you where? To Jannah. His actions, why did they say that to him? Why did they say that to him? What did they see? What did they see him doing? Hello? Anybody home? What did they see him doing? Yes? Leaving the religion, oppressing others, doing things that he's not supposed to do. How many of you here, and I repeat, know one of your friends that's doing something that they're not supposed to be doing? You don't have to raise your hand. That's a question for yourself. How many of you here know a friend that's doing something that he or she is not supposed to be doing? That's question one. Question two, what are you doing about it? What were they doing here? What were these were Qawm, his people. What were they doing here? Trying to do what? Trying to do what? What were they trying to do? They're trying to tell him what? To correct what he was doing. You need to make sure that you follow. Yes?
So, not supposed to be doing, like, are we talking about Muslims?
You're talking about, in the general public right now, we're talking about Muslims. Because non-Muslims, you have to find a way to communicate at a different level first. And then you can talk to them about it's a perfect example, about a non-Muslim. If they're doing something wrong, if someone is drinking, or someone is, they know the consequences and they know what happens when they do this. You can talk to them about that stuff. But talking now about Islam and about religion and Jannah and all, it's a different topic altogether that, like talking calculus to someone in second grade. You won't get it. Completely gone. But you pick the topic based on the level of understanding. If he's doing something wrong to someone around you, to one of your other friends, if he's backbiting someone, or if he's saying something that is mean, or he's being a bully, any of these things, I'm sure each one of you has something that one of his friends or her friends are doing. And are you talking to them about it? Why would you talk to them about it? Why would you talk to them about it? Because you care about it. Because you care about it. That's the whole thing. You care about that person. If he's a true friend, you care about them, make sure that they're straightened out. You know why? Because when you are doing something wrong, do you want someone to tell you that you're doing something wrong and correct you? Or not? You want to continue going on the wrong path? If I'm doing something wrong, I would want someone to tell me honestly, you're doing this wrong. You need to fix this. You're not going on the same path. You got to correct yourself. Otherwise, what's going to happen? Where are we going at the end? And if we don't go that direction, what's going to happen if we veer off? No, we're going to go off on a tangent. وابتغي فيما آتاك الله الدار الآخرة ولا تنس نصيبك من الدنيا. Right here. Still enjoy your dunya. They didn't say, I want you to worship and that's it. Do not do anything in life. What did they say? ولا تنس نصيبك من الدنيا. You have a part of dunya that you need to be doing. Not everything is akhirah. You can also be doing stuff for the dunya. وأحسن كما أحسن الله إليك. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has treated you well. So make sure that you treat everything else well. ولا تبغي الفساد في الأرض. إن الله لا يحب المفسدين. That's what he was doing. He was using his money to do what? To show off around people, right? What was that doing? Creating what to other people? How would they feel? Yes?
Horrible.
They feel horrible. They would feel horrible. I wish I had that. Everybody would say, I wish I had that. I wish I had that car. I wish I had this. I wish I had that. So he was making everybody around them feel horrible. Not just that. How many times have you heard on the news people killing and people doing weird things and going robbing banks or robbing grocery stores for $20 from the cashier? Why would they do that? Why are they desperate? Not Allah made them. They can't blame Allah for that. You cannot blame Allah for that. They took the wrong path. That's one. Two, they see everybody else has stuff. I want that. Why would someone go steal a car? I want that car. I can't afford it. I'm not going to work for it. I'm not going to work as much as I can to try to get that. How many people have you heard of that were very, very poor and they became very, very successful? What did they do? They worked so hard. There's nothing wrong with working hard. You cannot blame Allah for stuff that you're not doing. Yes.
What about leaders of drug cartels? They work hard.
Are they doing the right thing? That's it. That answers your question. That falls under this. وَلَا تَبْغِي الْفَسَادَ فِي الْأَرْضِ. That is fasad. Your intent. What is your intent? Fasad. Abomination to everybody that's doing this drugs. Why are they doing it? Who's the leader of it? The leader of that cartel. He is going to own everything. He's going to fall back onto him. Yes, mashallah. So many answers. Yes. There's nothing wrong with being proud of yourself. You have to attribute it to Allah. Not in the back of your mind. In the forefront. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You're not even paying attention to your dad is here. You have to attribute your success to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's it. But there's nothing wrong with feeling proud. There's a difference between proud and pride of basically switching to Arabic. Yes?
About what you just said, what if it was medical marijuana?
What if it's medical? That's a different story altogether, and that's being kind of like...
Drug cartels.
That has nothing to do with drug cartel. It has nothing to do with it. It's just like going to the pharmacy. If it gets approved, it's just like going to the pharmacy. It's a different topic altogether. Yes?
Okay, what would you call a person who's trying to feed their family but he's really poor and he steals?
It's like the Robin Hood issue.
He's a robber.
Same thing.
He's
because
a thief.
Yeah. Doesn't
He's a thief.
justify
Does not justify this. You cannot justify this. What's wrong is wrong. What's wrong is wrong. There's no question about it. You cannot change the name and the label. What is it?
How's he going to feed his family?
Look for a job.
He doesn't find one.
Did he look? 99% of the time they didn't look. And there's so many research about this. That's a different topic. Yes?
Why do we give all the things to Allah for the good things, but not the things for the bad things?
Say that again. Why do we give things to Allah that are good things and not the bad things?
No, I mean,
Like what credit to Allah for the good things?
and for the good things that we do, and then not the bad things.
Okay. We attribute the good that happens to us to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because it's and that's one thing that you need to understand just to start this conversation. Amr al-mu'min kullu khair. Does anybody know what that means? Amr al-mu'min kulluhu khair. The matter of a mu'min is all good. إِذَا أَصَابَتْهُ سَرَّاء شَكَرُ. If he was blessed with a good, he's thankful. And if he is blessed or tested with something bad, sabar, he is patient. So you attribute the good to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The bad, it's a test from Allah to see what you're going to do. You know the money with Qarun? Was that a good thing or a bad thing? It was a good thing or a bad thing?
Bad thing.
Bad thing. What do you think?
It was a good thing that turned him bad.
It was a good thing that turned him bad. What else?
Prejudice.
Another thing. You end up getting injured. And I'm sure you've heard about people like that happen. You missed a flight, a very important flight that you were going to. I just heard that recently. Someone missed a very important flight that he was supposed to go to someplace. And he was ruined because his career, and it was a big deal that he had to do, and he missed the flight. By the time he went home, he heard on the news that plane tanked and fell on the ocean. What does that say? Things are not good and bad in their nature. You think that having money is good, right? But it's a test. Not having money is a test. They're both a test. It's what you do with it. It's your action to whatever happens is what makes it good or bad. You get laid off from a job. Is that a good or a bad? Mish maybe. Definitely Allah has something better for you. That's the understanding. Definitely Allah has something better for you. Yes. That will be the last question.
But like, what if he didn't like never deserve the job? So it'd be like, so long took it away as punishment.
Well, it depends on what happens afterwards. That's where you figure out if it's a punishment or a blessing or not. So he got money. Did he use it wisely? No. So it became a burden on him. Someone else got money and he was spending it in the sake of Allah. He was doing this. He was doing a lot of different things. Is that a good or bad? It's a good. It's the same thing, but it depends on what you're going to do. So hopefully, inshallah, you might have heard half of what I said, or even a quarter of what I said. I'm trying to apply it, inshallah. Jazakallah khair. If you need anything else, if you have any questions, you can ask me. Jazakallah.